Welcome to Shonen Flop Chibi, a first impressions mini-episode where we talk about the first chapter of the series that we'll be covering in depth next week with our guest, Isekai Sensei. I'm Jordan, and with me today, as usual, is my lovely co-host, David. Say hi, David.
Hi, David.
What series we're covering this week, David?
Oh, man. This is not an illusion, but a trick dedicated to witches. Already getting the Arrested Development reference in minute one of the show.
You got to.
Fuck, that's gotta be the cover art, right?
Yeah, of course. I dedicate this next trick to them witches. Yeah, oh boy.
And who can we be thankful for these tricks?
The kids.
Oh, that was supposed to be a segue. Did you tell me who the author is?
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well, the author is Shizumu Watanabe.
But that's actually a pretty common last name, I think.
Yeah, I've seen Watanabe a lot, actually.
And then this ran from August 26, 2020 to April 7th, 2021. And it was 31 chapters and 4 volumes. So one of the longest things I think we've read recently.
I'm not surprised to see that. This is kind of a little bit more interesting, you know?
This is like an oasis of quality we haven't seen in quite a while.
God, seriously. I read this and I'm like, this is not embarrassing to see running in Shonen Jump or another manga. This is a manga. This is like an actual ass manga, not just a fucking shameful piece of shit.
This ran in the very generically named Shounen Magazine.
We're not even jumping, all right? We're not jumping here.
God.
We're just the boys. This is just the boys.
And along with the boy, here comes the plot summary.
Here he come! Alright. The special boy. Makito is one of the most popular magicians in Japan, the son of a great magician himself. After his mother's death, he has been obsessed with the idea of being isekai'd into a world with real magic, where he could use witchcraft to talk to his mom again. Thankfully, during his final performance, something goes wrong, and he gets burned alive, which is an illusion, of course, to disguise the isekai bus which is hitting him. Waking up, he's in a medieval world, of course, where he conveniently runs smack into a witch named Mia. But she's useless because she can't help but talk to his mom. Popcorn David.
Makito realizes he isn't in a medieval video game like most isekais, but actually he's just straight up in Europe.
Actual medieval Europe.
Just straight up. He time traveled. He didn't go through. He's not in a different dimension. He time traveled.
Well, he time traveled and I guess space traveled. I guess that's just actually traveling to Europe.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't driving. I was traveling. It's like what that shit sovereign citizens say when they get caught speeding.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Speaking of sovereign citizens, Mia is just a local healer who make herbs for kids dying of the Black Plague. But when one of them died, the church decided she must be a witch. She is bound to a chair and tortured while the crowd watches, only to be tied to a stake about to be burned. Even though he was transported to this new world, Makito still has some of the wire from his magic show and uses it to create an illusion where Mia flies away on her broomstick. The crowd sees him and believes him to be the devil because his hair looks just like horns. Dun dun dun.
Its hair does look a lot like horns.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. First impressions. David, do you think the author read Cool Shock BT?
I think this is the manga created by...
Yeah. Okay.
So I would not be surprised if this guy had worked for Araki in some capacity, or otherwise they're like best friends. This could just be Araki's son, to be honest.
I mean, David, Araki's very popular. You could just be a huge fan of Araki.
Yeah, but when have you read a manga that, like, legitimately actually showed, like, full breakdowns of the magic tricks? That's, like, Araki level, you know? Only Araki does that. Like, remember when he had, like, a full page spread talking about the kind of guitar that Red Hot Chili Pepper stand user was using when he was playing guitar?
So the reason why I might not connect it to that is that Araki's, like, explanations are typically just completely why would you need to explain that to me? Like, I love that you did, but this is like, you're explaining, like, the inner workings of a guitar. Like, that's not what I would expect reading JoJo, whereas this is more like Dr. Stone to me.
That's fair. This is Dr. Stone of magic tricks.
Yeah, no, really.
I mean, this is finally the series I think we always say whenever there's like an interesting topic and be like, show your work, make this like kind of educational. And this is the first series I think we've read that actually shows its work and says, yes, you can learn the topic this manga is about by reading this manga.
I fucking love this concept. This is a fucking great concept where it's like the illusions that we see today are like mind blowing, but it's like,
here's how they work.
Not only here's how they work, but also could you imagine going back in time where they don't even fucking know that magic tricks are like a thing?
Yeah.
That you can just do, and it's just like that David Blaine fucking YouTube video the whole time.
I was thinking that was actually my first idea for what the cover art could be. Is just him making the David Blaine face from that video.
I really like that a lot.
Oh, do you want to do that instead of Arrested Development?
I kind of do, yeah.
Dinosaur times. He sent me to medieval times. He sent me to medieval times.
You are a witch.
To watch his videos after this.
Oh god. But yeah, no, and it's interesting because it's like it really goes into like the specifics, like the why, and it's like laid out pretty well. You can understand what's going on pretty well. They explain like how, oh, he's burning alive, but like he's not actually burning alive. I mean, except he is burning alive, but that's like supposed to be weird.
Yeah, because Jordan didn't make it clear, but yeah, so it was a failed magic trick where it was supposed to be like an illusion. They talk about you use like LEDs to make the water vapor look like it's fire.
Yeah.
But it's actually, he actually got burnt alive, which is an interesting parallel with how he then successfully gets someone, to save someone from being burned alive at the end of the chapter, which is actually a nice parallelism that you also don't see a lot. So you can tell this author really has put a lot of thought into his writing.
I noticed that too. It was cool. There was, you know, David, like they go together, they rhyme.
It's like poetry.
It's like poetry.
Yeah.
But like it was an interesting setup because like when he gets burned, he is on like a giant cross,
Yeah.
which, you know, and then she is burned by the cross, David.
I am kind of worried though the series is just too hard a topic to write at this level every week. I don't think it was monthly, and if it was monthly, I'm going to be a little upset because this is a lot of chapters to read double chapters of.
That's the thing that I'm thinking. This is kind of an issue that I have with Cypher Academy, although Cypher Academy's idea seems worse, where, listener, if you don't know...
Well, Cypher Academy is also untranslatable.
Yes, that's the main issue. Cypher Academy is a series about word puzzles, if you're not familiar. And yeah, making a word puzzle alone is difficult, but translating it to a different language is often like just straight up fucking impossible.
Yeah. Luckily with this, I mean, that's why this and Dr. Stone work fine, is the laws of science don't change.
The laws of science don't change. The laws of logic don't change. Everybody across cultures knows what a pulley is.
Yeah.
They know what a broom is, generally. Maybe not all cultures, but across these cultures.
Yeah, some cultures don't have cleaning tools.
Well, they might have like a special thing that's like a broom that they don't call a broom, or they have like special techniques. I don't know, David. I'm just covering my fucking tracks. Oh my God.
Like a good magician.
Like a good magician, David. I'm tricking you guys into thinking I'm smarter than I am.
I do think, though, and you've done a great job of that. I do think, though, the series has some issues I saw in the later half.
Yes.
Originally, I was going to say no notes, but man, I was really confused with the whole Witch of Death thing because she seemed like it was supposed to be like she looks so sweet, but she's actually evil, and like it seemed to imply she intentionally killed the kid or something weird like that. And then it turns out she's completely innocent, and she is just like this really nice girl when she's on trial. And I was a little confused how they even caught her and put her on trial, and that whole sequence just felt like the writing was kind of rushed and a little confusing.
That the writing did often seem pretty rushed, where it's like, oh, he winds up meeting the witch. Wow. Oh, wow. She's immediately captured.
Yeah.
Or she's already captured. She's immediately thrown to the stake. And the idea is that she's like so, brainwashed by the church that like, she's just like, well, the church says it and I believe everything the church says since I was a kid. So like, I guess they're right. I'm a witch. I didn't think I was a witch, but I guess they're right. Which I think is something that probably happened.
Yeah, and then also just the nudity, the unnecessary sexualization of her in that scene, that was like, ugh.
Yeah, that was a little weird. This is an actual thing that some people believed, and I don't know, probably still believed somewhere, about witches, where they have like little marks on their body where if you poke them with like a knife, the witch won't feel anything and it won't bleed or anything like that. They took advantage of this by kind of like ripping off her clothes and just poking her everywhere.
It was very unnecessary.
It was much. It was kind of a lot.
I'm sure he fought the water. I'm sure there was an originally a water dunking scene where she's just, her clothes are all see-through, that he was like, okay, that's too much.
Oh God, we might see that in the future.
Oh, that's true. He's going to get through every form of how can I sexualize witch torture.
Oh man, yeah, witches are pretty hot.
That's the real trick.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, also, like, this is some pretty fucking solid art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely, like, I mean, I don't think we even need to ask if you'd read 10 more chapters of this, because this is by far one of the strongest first chapters we have read in probably the last year.
Yeah, which is a low-ass bar, but you know what, man? It cleared the bar.
Yeah, the series will have to take a pretty heavy nosedive to be considered a flop based on the quality of the first chapter.
I don't know. I mean, because as we mentioned, I don't know how long this could be sustained. You have to think of like a brand new but equally interesting mechanic each week.
Yeah.
I don't know. The plot hasn't really started yet, but I think we'll so we'll have to see how interesting the plot is. And yeah, I mean, there is a lot of rushing with the writing and the plot and stuff like that. And part of that is probably just the time allotted. You know, you only have so many pages.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I wouldn't call them red flags, maybe like orange flags, yellow flag, you know. Beige flags, like they're flags.
Beige flags, great adventure.
Oh boy, yeah, beige flags.
Speaking of water parks.
No, beige flags, mediocre adventure.
It's 3 flags, and they're all beige. And then Jordan, though, what do you think is going to happen next?
So I think that there's going to be some things that we believe witches do, or rather that we is popularly.
Oh, I love it. That's a great guess, like the broom riding.
What if it turns out people didn't believe? Well, it seemed like it's implied that they already believed that brooms made witches fly, but what if it was like they didn't believe that until he did that? I don't know. That would be fun, and I hope that that kind of stuff happens. The next is Makito has to reveal the tricks of a con man. He kind of notices that like the church is conning people, but he doesn't reveal it to people. I think he's going to have to do that.
Yeah, so for reference, the head priest, when he's like judging the witch's mark, he uses a retractable blade dagger to make it seem like he's poking her without her bleeding.
Yeah, right on the boob.
Yep.
That's what we were talking about. And then my last one is I think that Makito discovers a real witch and has to defeat them using the powers of illusion.
I like it. I think we're in alignment. We both think that real magic will show up in some capacity in this series.
I mean, real magic kind of already did show up because he got sent back in time.
Well, we don't know what actually happens when you die.
Yeah, maybe it's all an illusion. Like, it turns out that everybody's an actor.
What if they're like, yeah, with smoke inhalation, he's in a coma for 6 months?
Yeah, or he's just underneath the stage in like an extremely elaborate set.
So my guesses are, I think it turns out that the main character has legit magic powers, or it's vague. Like there'll be a thing where somehow like he sets up like this illusion and some part of it doesn't work, but the illusion still works. And it's like kind of vague, like, oh, maybe it didn't, or maybe it was something else why that trick worked.
I think so too, yeah.
I think he's going to find his mom here.
Ooh.
And also, and maybe that's the plot, is he like, someone mentioned someone that looks like his mom, and they like go, and now that's like quest to try and find his mom because he thinks she's been reincarnated here too.
That's like based on nothing else to go by. That's what I'm assuming the plot's gonna be.
And then finally, he'll find out the truth about how he died. And then it was like a setup, like it was like his manager like was just so tired of him, and like the insurance or something. Like it turns out like someone like set him up to die, and he like finds out about that.
Yeah, it might be a manager, might be like an evil rival magician.
Oh my.
Yeah. So David, what's your power word?
Mine is illusion, because tricks are what whores do for money. So it's Arrested Development. It's that I fucking love Arrested. Remember, that was what the magician always would say. They're illusions, Michael.
You mean Job? Yeah. Illusions, Michael.
And then how about you?
Mind freak, like Chris Angel. Mind freak.
All right, we'll get the David Blaine art sent to her. That's good as it gets.
Yeah, I still think it's fucking hilarious that they called it Mind Freak, and years later I was like, oh, they wanted to call it Mind Fuck, didn't they?
What the frick?
What the frick? Oh, man. Go frick yourself.
Jordan, we got some good frickin' questions from our lovely members of the Discord.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah.
Just a reminder, you can post them in the Discord. You can find a link to it in our show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. And we give priority to people who are King of the Forest and above patrons, people who have not asked questions before, or people who have not had their questions asked a long time. And just to note, we do review every question that's asked, so you don't have to worry about reposting your question or reminding us. We will try and get to it. Sometimes there are just questions that are either too complicated for us to answer in an episode like this, or simply we just don't have a good response to, so that may be why we haven't answered one of your questions yet.
Yes.
So to start things off, we have from first time question asker Engine the Engineer, do y'all have something like a release calendar? And we do actually. So yes, we actually do have a release calendar. It is a patron perk. It is for anyone who is on the Patreon. So for as little as $3, you will get a full view of every single episode we release. So getting to know what the series are, and along with that, what the bonus content is as well.
David's acting like he didn't pick that question specifically so he could explain Patreon to you.
ABC, baby. Always be caressing your loved ones. And then to make up for the fact that that question was an ad, I picked another one from them. Engine the Engineer says, which one of you can do more push-ups or bench more? So Jordan's got like 7 inches on me, though.
Yeah, but I don't work out that much.
That's fair.
I mean, we're not talking, like, here's the thing. Last time we had this conversation, it was based on who would win in a fight, and I was taller and bigger, so maybe that was the case. But we're talking about exercising here. No, David, you got this.
You're the only one of us who has a girlfriend, so.
Yeah, that's true. You don't got a girlfriend.
I love my ex-girlfriend, though.
Yeah, you do.
I love how she started the ex-girlfriend jokes. Oh, God. I'm so excited for the art Joey made for our wedding gift.
It's great. I saw it.
I'll post it once it's ready, but it's Joey, just for reference, the wonderful Joey, who was our guest on Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin, good friend of the show. I commissioned them to draw some art for our wedding that I am super excited about.
Yes!
Next up, someone who changed their name based on our Patreon content, Lef Reitman, said, if you could spend a perfect day with any one canceled manga character, who would you spend the day with and what would you do?
Oh, it's such a perfect
Jordan's
day.
like, well, David clearly spent with Debonair. He wouldn't make it out alive,
well,
but...
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course, yeah. We'll go on a double date with the characters from Red Hood.
Snoo.
No, I'd love to spend it with. Oh my God. I had.
Do you want me to go first?
You know what? I would spend it with Orpheus.
That's legit what I was about to say.
Yeah, no, I think we'd both just hang out with Orpheus, hang out on the beach, just kind of chill with him, you know?
Yeah.
He'd watch his kid, and yeah, it would just be like a nice, relaxing day, you know?
I think that would just be a really fun time.
Yeah.
From the next question, from T-Root, do you have any plans or any cool ways to celebrate hitting 1,000 YouTube subs? We are only about 90 short.
Really?
Yeah, we're at like 911.
Holy shit. We're famous. Oh my God, David. Holy shit. We're celebrities now.
If you don't subscribe to us on YouTube, it would be much appreciated. That would be really cool to have 1,000. If people have ideas, by the way, of how they would like us to celebrate, let us know. We usually don't do big things to celebrate these milestones. Like, I know we just kind of said, oh, this is awesome. Like, we hit 150,000 listeners. We hit 500 people on the Discord, 50 patrons. So if people want us to do more intense celebratory content, we can definitely think about it. We just don't really know what people would be looking for. I know like Q&As are popular to do for milestones, but we already do those.
But also, if you're a true stan, yeah, you'll subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll do it. My Stan army.
Even if your name isn't Stan, it's also fine. We'll take Benjamin's and Tyler's as well. And Tiffany's and
we'll take some John's.
Veronica's. And I don't think I've ever met anyone named. It's weird how like there's names that you think are common, but you've never actually met someone with that name. I don't know anyone named Veronica, but like I wouldn't say that's a rare name.
Well, the issue is that a lot of those names are from like 50 years ago. They were really popular.
Archie.
Like, yeah, exactly. You just named like a bunch of Archie characters. Did you mean to do that?
Wait, is there an Archie character called Henry?
No, I thought you said Betty and Veronica and then Arch. I heard Betty. Never mind.
No.
But Veronica's
definitely Archie.
Veronica's literally Archie, yeah.
Anyway, though, from Darth Pikachu, if you could have dinner with one character from a manga you've covered, who would it be and what would you talk about?
You know, David, if your kid's name's Archie, that means you named them Archibald. I just kind of put that together. But yeah, you have dinner with one character from a manga. Neither of us can say Orpheus because we just did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have it with, Lamech from Golem Hearts, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
I can respect that. He's a nice guy.
A nice dinner.
He's a terrible chef, though.
Well, I wouldn't have him cook it, you know? We go out to dinner.
That's fair. Let me look at who was Sora of the Year. These are the characters we actually liked. What about Mannequin Piss?
Yeah!
You just fucking... I think that would be great. He'll just give you like a bunch of good life advice.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Okay, I'm going to say Mannequin Piss.
No, Mannequin Piss is a good option. Yeah, and he'll piss all over the food.
That's seasoning, baby.
Yeah.
All right. And then I recently was on a podcast called Dem and Does where they did an awesome interview of me. I'm going to play a quick little promo they have sent me here.
This is Damon from Damon Does the 6 Questions. This week, I chat with David from Shonen Flop. Say hi, David.
Hi, David.
Join us as we talk random trivia, food, and D&D. You'll also find out why he gave this 6-word summary.
Really fun, insightful questions to answer.
You can find Damon Does on the podcast app you're listening to right now.
I also want to say, Jordan, though, thank you so much for all your hard work in editing the Chibi episodes.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your much harder work in editing the Chibi episodes.
No problem. I also want to give props to Shannon for the awesome cover art. You can find her online at illuminyatea. And thank you, Dylan, for assistance with editing. You can find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutofcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker and Maxie B for assistance with pronunciation, translation, other miscellaneous research. And you can find us at Twitter, at Shonen Flopcast, and our website, shonenflop.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcast. And as we talked about, come join the Shonen Flop Discord. You can ask us questions, submit your 6-word summaries, or just hang out. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site. And if you've been enjoying the podcast and want to help us keep going, consider subscribing to our Patreon. We wouldn't be able to keep running the show without their support. Get a lot of awesome perks like exclusive content, including, Jordan, what are we releasing this month?
Oh, listener, you're gonna love this. We are releasing the first part of our next Patreon miniseries. We already finished the dick joke manga. Now we're on to the cute Lovecraft joke manga. That's right, we're doing Mayu-chan.
Yes, and who was our guest on that first episode?
Sean from Anime Out of Context.
Yeah, our first ever returning guest, too.
Yeah, this is a momentous occasion.
And along with that, you could even be listening into his recordings and help us pick what series we're going to cover next. You can find that at patreon.com/shonenflop. And speaking of perks, I'm going to read off some of our wonderful patrons right now.
Yeah.
Starting with the Chainsaw Man patron, we have Nipples Are Huge right now, Check Any Magazine. Moving on down to the Dolphin Dad, we have Dude Man Bro Guy and Tracking Roving Animals for All Loving Girls and Raccoons Wolfwood. Moving down to the King of the Forest, we have 090C, Albie, Cramp, Casa Florane, Gabe Landau, Israfont, Jacob Andrew Galloway, Josh Robinson, Kevin Briggs, Manji Knights, Marty, Max Baker, Rachel, my wonderful fiance. I hope she's having fun with her mom, who's visiting right now. Scarlett Myrmidon, Sean's wife, Judy Hops, once a night koi review. T, The Real Jory, The BB King, BB The, and Trevor Schechner. Then going down to the Galactic Ball Federation officers, we have Blah Moo Moo, Brian Sexton, Dennis James Mon, Dolphin, Drago, Drew, Dylan Crider, Eric Alex Klein, Generic Man, Hans, Heavy Metal Hermit Crab, I've Had Nightmares Like This as Misaka, Keanu, Lincoln Frey, Manly P. Hall, Marabara, Marvin Weinberger, my dad, Melvi, Mike Carpenter, Peyton Richardson, Rosendo Mendoza, Ryan Jasinski, Sarah Hydra, Mendoza! Scott Frischler, Simping for Senpai Ash, Staghorn, Tyler Broden, and Wright. Gosh, this list is just getting so long. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I also gotta say, I was watching a stream from Voidburger, by the way. It fucking sucks that she got laid off by Giant Bomb. Pissed about that.
Yeah.
But her and Chip are streaming Final Fantasy VII because he's an expert and she's never played it. And I swear to God, she was talking about, like, her patrons and stuff, and she mentioned Blah Moo Moo.
Didn't you already tell the story?
No, that was a different podcast, David. That's my point. I'm seeing Blah Moo Moo show up everywhere.
What the fuck? This is actually the only podcast he supports.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, is there a different Blamumu?
There's many Blamumus then, I guess.
There's an entire fleet of Blamumus. What the fuck?
I know, but we have the best one.
We have the best one. Yes, all those other people. I'm sorry, Voidburger, you don't have the best Blamumu. We got the best Blamumu.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Blamumu. Your name is now Best Blamumu.
Oh my goodness. And then, Jordan, is there anything you want to add besides that story?
Check out my Instagram. I just finished my first abstract painting commission. You can find it at Jordan Forbes Art. And I really hope that it isn't Art of Jordan Forbes. I always get confused. It's definitely Jordan Forbes Art. Go check that out.
Thank you so much for listening. Tune in next Monday as we give our full thoughts on tricks dedicated to witches featuring Isekai Sensei.
A trick is a trick. Anyway, this has been Jordan.
This has been David.
You've been listening to Shonen Flop. David, say it!
Keep on flopping, floppers.
Yeah, bye.